pleasure to have you back in more ways.
Was anybody asking for me? That's really sweet.
We were, actually.
Did
we
my
asked
mom
for you
call
all the
in?
time. She did, every day.
Hi, Mom.
Well, Mama Roch is watching the Orioles last night. You had to really write from the top on this one.
Yeah, you can never be so sure. I mean, 19 comeback wins, and I kind of get the sense, and I'm sure you do too, it's mixed feelings in the clubhouse, leaning heavily toward, hey, this is great. It's fun. It shows how gritty we are. Never say die. We keep trying, and the chemistry. But there are guys also that are like, hey, could we win 10-0 sometime, or even 11-1? They'd probably be down 1-0. But still, make it easier on themselves. I mean, they do lead the majors. 19 comeback wins. That's great, but it's not good for the blood pressure for sure. Now, the club record, because I'm sure you were wondering, what's the club record? It's 48 per stats. 48 comeback wins, 1979 and 1985. 79 makes sense, of course, the older fans. That was the Oriole Magic season. Doug DeCinces, the home run off Dave Tobick. The Tigers closer, June 22nd. We'll never forget it. 85, forgettable season. But 79, that makes a lot of sense. The Major League record, you're probably like, well, Roch, you know, don't leave us hanging here. What's the Major League record? I'm so glad you asked. The 2004 Yankees, 61 comeback wins. The 77 Phillies are next on that list with 58. You may note, not only did neither team win a World Series, they didn't even make it that year. So this doesn't guarantee a title. The 2004 Yankees, of course, you know, a 3-0 lead on the Red Sox in the ALCS, and then things happen.
The man on the moon.
So maybe, I don't know, maybe you get worn out at that point. You're just, I don't have another one in me. But it doesn't assure a championship. The Orioles would love to have that opportunity in October to see how far they can take it.
Well, we'll let them know that maybe getting ahead a few times will be helpful. I'm sure no one's actually pointed to that yet, but one guy who did, in fact, get them ahead last night might have been a surprise to some, and you could hear it in the reaction from the fans as Gunnar Henderson was called in for a pinch hit appearance in the 7th, a new reliever for the Yankees. And did he ever deliver? A bases clearing 2-run double for the young kid who's been slowly finding his way. And you take a look at his numbers here in March and April compared to May. The game's sitting right about the same right now. The on-base percent has gone down just a hair. However, his slugging is way up. His OPS is almost 200 points higher. You cannot ask for more than this. And Roch, I know that we've been tracking him. And really the fact that manager Brandon Hyde hasn't lost faith. Every night he's really been putting him out there in the lineup. But this is really a turning point.
Yeah, that was a very enthusiastic sprinkler, by the way. Youth, right? These 21-year-old kids. Yeah, I mean, he has 11 hits in the last 11 games, and he's making much better contact, higher exit velocity. And if you look overall, 306, 324, 611 slash line. Anybody you talk to in and out of the organization said the kid was just pressing. And Brandon Hyde mentioned today, you know, all that hype. He's the #1 prospect in baseball. It's a tremendous amount of pressure. People thought he was going to master this game right away. It doesn't happen. Seems more relaxed now, having better at-bats. And let's give him credit, because the work ethic nobody questions. Right as the 7th innings get ready to start, he finds that batting cage indoor next to the dugout, very convenient. He started swinging in there because he wanted to see some velo, as he put it, because if you do come in a game, you're not going to get soft tosses. I mean, there is going to be velo. So he's taking some swings. First 2 guys reach. In his head, he's thinking, okay, now I'm going to break down possible scenarios where I might be needed. He amped up the intensity. Sure enough, he was needed. Gives them the lead with that double, his first career pinch hit. So he was already thinking, I need to get ready. I'm sure that really impressed Hyde and everybody else that saw the kid do that. Only 21 years old, very gifted. He's going to be very good. He's going to be fun to watch. It was just expected. A lot of guys, Hall of Famers, have started out slowly in their careers. Well, nothing to be concerned about.
Well, and of course, you shoulder it a little bit having Adley, who was the former 1-1 there. So some guys that he can kind of find some relation with and figuring that out, which is always good. But we're missing a couple today still, of course, some injury notes. But Cedric Mullins also out of the lineup. Yeah,
which is a curiosity because, first of all, it's a right-handed starter, Clark Schmidt. And Schmidt has a lot of trouble against lefties. So when Mullins isn't in the lineup, it's going to raise a lot of questions. And all Brandon Hyde said, it was for personal reasons. He said it may only be one day. He didn't want to elaborate. Didn't specify whether Mullins is even here. Certainly, if he's not, he doesn't want the Yankees to know that. You know, you have a weapon on the bench in the late innings. Personal reasons, he's not here. We also ask about, well, what's the latest on Dylan Tate? His 30-day injury rehab assignment ended yesterday. He said the club's still discussing that right now, what to do with him. Pure speculation here. Maybe they're waiting to see what happens tonight, how much the bullpen's used, and whether they reinstate him, put him on the active roster. Otherwise, you can option him. He has 2 minor league options left. So maybe they're waiting until after tonight's game, but they have to make a decision by then. Oh, and our friend Ramon Urias is still at High A Aberdeen. He is playing third base tonight. He was the DH in game 1 yesterday, 0 for 2, 3 walks, 2 runs scored. So he's in the field tonight, and he'll probably play again tomorrow. He's been eyeing this weekend series at Camden Yards against the Rangers for his return. Looks like he's on track to do that, and then they can figure out who gets sent down to make room.
How big is that to have Urias back for the sake of Gunnar Henderson? We all know that Urias is a Gold Glover in himself, but you really can't underplay that value that he brings, just being that steady left side of the infield.
Right, and I mean, it gives Gunnar a chance maybe to play some shortstop. Jorge Mateo's still not hitting, though he brings value with that glove. Don't move guys around. They've been doing that. But Urias, you know, he'll play some second, and you win a Gold Glove, but it travels. He hasn't had to play short. You know, they'll use him in different spots. Maybe he's a backup first baseman again. He did that in 1 game, so he's been very valuable. Great clutch hitter on this team, so they'll be happy to have him back.
Well, and hopefully they can get it done without him today here in the Bronx. Until we get him back, of course, the Orioles coming home against Texas. Roch, we'll go ahead and let you file your next post.
Thank you.